Look, I want you to succeed. I want you to experience more wealth. I want you to get more clients. But can you spot these mistakes? Welcome back to Our Mentor, y'all. My name is Sean, and as a freelance artist for the last 8 years, I just want to ask you, can I help you start your art business right? And would you like to know the most common reasons why most artists don't make it? The first question I want to ask you is, are you still waiting to start? You cannot wait for your art to be at its most pinnacle level, at the absolute height of your skill. You cannot wait for things like social media growth. You can't wait for the economy to be good or bad. None of this is going to start unless you do. And let me just empower you for a second. Even if you put yourself out there and you don't get clients right away, that's still feedback. So what do you do in that case? You put yourself out there, you don't get a client for a month. Okay, cool. Go back, make some art. Put yourself out there for a month. Go back, make some art. Just repeat this process ad nauseum, and I promise you that if you're tenacious with it, you are going to start to get clients. Are you just waiting around for perfection, or are you ready to start now? Now, frequently overlooked is also this flaw. Are you still making personal artwork? Y'all, I just gotta let you know that the second that you stop making work that is strictly for you, not for a client, not for any type of big job, is literally when it marks the beginning of the death of your artistic soul. And I really want you to hear me on that one, okay? Because you need to always be making things that align to your passion. And a really big flaw that I see as far as why people don't succeed in their art business is because they stop making things that are personally relevant to them. If you don't get a client, don't be somebody that just mopes around and just doesn't make art anymore. Don't be all sad about it, okay? What you should be doing all the time, whether or not you have clients, or especially if you don't have clients, is you just need to advance your skills. You need to level those things up. You need to get that art XP, right? And to do that, yeah, I promise you that if you advance your skills, the clients will come. They will follow. It may follow over time. It may come all at once, but it's definitely a guarantee. This is the only guarantee I can tell you in the art business, is that the better your skill level is, the more likely it is that people are going to want to buy from you. And especially when you're making your personal artwork, then you have a story and you have a narrative component to it. Definitely don't give up what you personally like to do. Now, I know that you're probably excited to start your art business or to keep it going if you already have, but don't do this either. Trying to go full-time right from the start of launching your art business, I'm going to say, is a little inadvisable. I do not recommend that you just go ahead and quit your day job, or if you're not employed, to just expect this to cover all the bills, because realistically what you're looking at, if you're starting an art business, whether it's commissions or you're trying to get into illustration work, then it's probably not going to be able to sustain you. And just starting out, what you need to think of this as a part-time business, or you need to think of this as a side hustle. If you are seeking to make this a full-time business, what you are going to have to do is eventually ease off of private clients and lean into corporate clients, because there's a lot more money in the corporate world than there is in the private world. Now, if you do come in too hot and you just expect to get showered with money, let me just warn you, friend, this is exactly what's going to happen to you, is that you're going to start to compromise and you're going to take on too much work at not enough pricing, and then you will fall into the mindset of, well, something is better than nothing. And let me just speak to that mindset for a moment here. Does that sound empowering to you, to just take whatever comes your way? Let's parallel that to a relationship. Do you just want to be stuck with just anybody? Like, hey, want to marry me just because you walked into my field of vision? Of course not. So why would you want to model your business like that? It just isn't very empowering, and it's not going to propel you forward. Now, this reminds me of something else that definitely will not help you. Your social media growth and the value that many artists place on it is one of the most perpetuated lies and wastes of time for artists. Because, simply put, friend, followers do not equal clients. These things are not the same at all. Statistically speaking here, only about 10% of your audience will ever see anything that you put out. It doesn't matter on what platform you're talking about. So with that, most of those people are just lurkers. They're not people that are going to buy from you. They're not your customers. They're not going to support you on Patreon. They're not going to buy your artwork. So my friend, let me just ask you this. Why do you want to waste 1 to 2 years growing a massive audience, if you can even do that, cashing in on those attention dollars instead of making real money? Right? Do you see the problem there? Have you ever fallen into this trap before? If so, friend, let me just direct you to my commissions guides, where I'm going to actually teach you actionable steps instead of relying on things like algorithms and luck. Now, have you also done this? Are you still trying to take advice from people that aren't successful? I really want you to question, my friend, Where are you getting your material from? Where are you getting your advice from? Are they where you want to be right now? Are they the vision of where you want to be in 2 to 5 years? Or are they somebody that's peddling $10 line art online? Do you really want that to be your future? You really need to heavily consider the source material that you are going to pull your advice from, because if they're not where you want to be, why would you want to listen to them? So have you really studied the person, the people, the websites, or wherever you're getting your advice from? And also, have you fallen into this fallacy? Y'all, are you lowballing yourself because of your region of the world where you're from? Why are you doing that? I just want to ask you this. Who could possibly take one look at your artwork and immediately determine where in the world you live? Now, the next question that this entails is, does the market undervalue you because of where you live? No, it doesn't. So this begs the question, who does? My friend, I gotta be honest with you, it's you. You're the one that undervalues yourself. You're the one that looks at where you were born or where you live right now and you think, well, because everybody around me is charging the same amount, therefore I have to. Friend, I just want to let you know that just because you don't live in North America or just because you don't live in Europe does not mean that you cannot charge those rates, that you don't demand those pricing. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, when I take a look on websites like Pixiv, there are some absolute beasts on that website that are just horrifically and disrespectfully undercharging themselves. You don't deserve that. You deserve a lot more. And just think about this. If $20 a day is what you need to keep going, right? What would $100 a day do? What would $200 a day do? What would $500 a day do? Doesn't that sound way more empowering? So no, clients aren't lowballing you. The market isn't lowballing you. Only you can lowball yourself. Now, this negative mindset is always fed by this illusion. Have you ever heard the old, oh, the market's so oversaturated? Have you ever heard somebody say to you that, well, it's just too competitive? Have you ever felt like you need to charge less just to get something rather than nothing, right? Well, my friend, I just want to warn you, that is a very fixed mindset because you are undervaluing yourself before you even get started. And I also just want to really help you realize this. How in the world can your artwork that took you years to develop, by the way, how could that possibly be worth less than a 14-year-old cashier's salary? How can that be? You deserve so much better and so much more. You can stand out if you know how to. You can stand out if you stop relying on silly social media posts to go ahead and try and advertise yourself. This stuff isn't working, but what is working is if you go ahead and you watch my commissions guys, I'll show you non-algorithmic based websites that you can go to get more clients, to get more work, and to get more money. Because I'm just gonna tell you, those areas that you're looking at that seem too competitive, oversaturated, it's just because they're a bad platform. There are reasons, there are things that you can do, my friend, so that you can stand out in that crowd. And I'm gonna power you on how to do that. Now beware of feeding into this lie, because otherwise you might believe this. You might start to just mimic everything that you see happening online right now. Do you wanna know a really awesome tip to stand out? Do you wanna know a really big mega tip? Well, here you go. Most people advertise themselves and especially respond to posts horribly wrong. Like just absolutely, sometimes it's insulting and it's inappropriate, y'all, how people are responding to clients looking for work and how they're advertising themselves. So my friend, if you actually put yourself out there and you respond to clients like a professional and you advertise yourself like a professional, it's a surefire way to stand out amongst the sea of people that are doing things horribly wrong. And then the worst part too is that if you actually continue down this path, you get to join this. Y'all, I really want to caution you because I don't want this to happen to you. Please believe me on that. I'm trying to help you out here. If you follow down the path of everything that I'm trying to warn you against, you're going to hit burnout. It's not going to come like a rocket though. It's going to be like a frog in boiling water. A frog in boiling water won't know it's being boiled until it's been boiled. And that's going to be you, friend. I don't think you want that. How do you do this? You avoid the mass tactics, okay? Yes, you will see loads of people undercharging themselves. Yes, you will see tons of artists whining about how it's too saturated and it's too competitive, but you can't fall into that trap. You can't fall into that mindset and you can't be negligent in what you need to do to help to attract clients beyond just putting up a post once a month. Now, the number one thing that's perpetuating this mindset is just cheap clients. And I just want to reiterate this from my previous videos. Who cares what they think? You shouldn't care what they think. Nobody should be caring what cheap clients think, because I'm just gonna be honest with y'all, but 20 bucks, 10 bucks, 5 bucks, 7 bucks, it's not gonna do anything for your life. It's only gonna do something for you right now. Maybe, perhaps that's gonna be your case, but what is it gonna do for you in 5 years? In 5 years, you're gonna be in the same place, or in 5 years, you will no longer be making artwork because you'll have been sullied by this horrible experience of making cheap artwork. I don't want that for you. I wanna empower you. That's the mission of this channel, y'all. Of course, though, I do also have to warn you about this. While you're doing this, many artists will fail to recognize when to upcharge. And just to give you an example, y'all, I get comments all the time about people telling me how they can't get large art pricing, but they'll go ahead and brag about the fact that they got 8 clients at $15 a piece. That's not a badge of honor. That is a failure to identify when your demand has gone up. If you've never heard this, I just want to empower you right now. When you come into demand, that signifies that you need to have a rate hike. Consistently undercharging yourself will never promote you, it will never allow you to reach greater heights, and it will never allow you to experience more wealth than what you currently are. So you do need to recognize, friend, when it's time to go ahead and up those rates. So if you want to know some solid tips on how to conduct yourself better as a professional to get more money and more clients, make sure you watch these videos right here.